Hi, my name is Charlotte Butner, and the innovation my team and I tested were the thermoses. The history of the thermos. The vacuum flask was first invented by James Dewar, a Scottish chemist in 1892. He needed to keep the chemicals he was working with at a stable temperature, so he placed a glass bottle inside of a larger glass bottle and joined the two glasses by the neck so the glasses were sealed together. He then removed the air that was between the glass walls. This in result created a vacuum which resulted in the temperature of the contents to remain stable. Then in 1903, a domestic vacuum flask was created by Reynold Berger. He created the vacuum flask with a metal casing around it. This became the thermos that we all know today. The targeted populations. Thermoses are made in different types of ways so that they cater to all different types of populations with different needs. There are some thermoses that are created to hold beverages hotter or colder longer. The population this is targeted towards are the people who work a long job and want to keep their coffee hotter or any substance in general at a desired temperature longer. There are also some thermoses that are designed to be more durable. Some people take their thermoses in harsh environments, so it's important for the thermos to withstand the environment while keeping the contents at the constant temperature. The product requirements. To satisfy consumers, thermoses need to be able to hold consumer substances at their desired temperature for more than 6 hours. Because of this, thermoses need to have a good vacuum seal that allows for the thermoses to hold a constant temperature. Thermoses should also be made out of a good material that cannot be damaged easily so that the vacuum is able to stay intact and be able to have a good temperature control. Thermoses should also have a lid that has an airtight seal so no liquid or food contents leak. How are thermoses designed? Thermoses are made out of a container with a smaller container inside of it to make a double-walled bottle. A vacuum is created in the thermos by removing the air between the two walls of the containers. The vacuum is the most important part because it creates an insulator for the thermos. Thermoses also have an airtight lid. This helps prevent any air from entering or leaving the thermos. Overall, this stops heat from getting in or out of the thermos to keep the contents at their stable temperature. Thermoses also must be made out of a durable but affordable material. Environmental impacts of the design. Thermoses are made out of metal instead of plastic so that the walls of the thermos can withstand vacuum between the thermos walls. Since thermoses are made out of a reusable material, they do not contribute as much to the waste that goes into landfills since they can be used over a long period of time. It is not a single-use item, so it is overall an environmental-friendly invention. The economic impact of the design. Thermoses present an economic benefit to the consumer due to the money saved by owning a thermos. The thermoses might have a larger upfront cost, but over time, the amount the consumer would spend daily for a bottle to hold their contents would outweigh the metal thermos cost in the long run. Testing. The overall goal of my extended team was to see what thermos that is tested is most efficient and durable among the chosen competitors so the best thermos can be found to keep the consumer substance at their desired temperature. To find the best thermos overall, each thermos was put through a series of mini tests, including a cold test, a heat test, and a durability test. The outcome of all these tests were then compared to find the best thermos overall. The cold test. Thermoses help keep contents of the thermos at a cold temperature longer than the standard water bottle by preventing the thermal energy from the surrounding environment to enter the thermos. The procedures for the cold test are listed below. 4 ounces of ice was put into each thermos and then filled up with the sink water until the thermos was completely filled with water. The initial temperature of the ice water was recorded from each thermos. Every 8 hours, the thermos was shaken, and then the temperature was recorded over a total period of 24 hours. The difference between the initial and final temperature was calculated and compared to the other competitor thermoses to find the thermos that holds coldness better. For the Stanley thermos, the difference was 16 degrees. For the L.A. Naylor thermos, the difference was 25 degrees. For the Simply Modern thermos, the difference was 11.5 degrees. Overall, the Simply Modern thermos was able to keep a more constant cold temperature than the other competitor thermoses by minimizing heat transfer to the cold water. The heat test. Thermoses keep the constant contents at a hot temperature longer than a normal plastic water bottle by preventing the loss of thermal energy. The procedures are listed for the heat test below. Thermoses were filled as high as possible with boiling water that was approximately 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The initial temperature of the hot water was recorded from each thermos. Every 8 hours, the temperature was recorded from each thermos over a period of 24 hours. The differences were calculated between the temperatures and then compared to the other competitor thermoses to find the thermos that holds heat better. For the Stanley thermos, the difference was 90 degrees. For the L.A. Naylor thermos, the difference was 96 degrees. For the Simply Modern thermos, the difference was 98 degrees. Overall, the LA Naylor thermos had less of a temperature change because it was able to minimize the heat that escaped from the thermos during the test better than the other thermoses could. Durability test. The vacuum of a thermos must remain undamaged so that the thermos temperature control will remain functioning. The procedures for the durability test are listed below. All 3 thermoses were completely filled with sink water. All 3 thermoses were pushed off a table with a height of 29 inches and the damages recorded. All 3 thermoses were pushed off a bench with a height of 19 inches and the damages recorded. All 3 thermoses were dropped out of a backpack with a height of 43.5 inches and the damages were recorded. After being dropped from the table, the Stanley thermos leaked. The LA Naylor thermos had a small dent, and the Simply Modern thermos was not damaged. After being dropped from the bench, the Stanley thermos leaked more. The LA Naylor thermos did crack in half, and the Simply Modern thermos had a minor scratch. After being dropped from the backpack, the Stanley thermos lid dented, the LA Naylor thermos leaked water, and the Simply Modern thermos got a small dent. Overall, the Simply Modern thermos performed the best because it did not leak any water, and the damage received was not enough to break the thermos's vacuum. Overall, the Simply Modern thermos outperformed the other thermoses and proved that the more efficient and durable thermos need to have a long length but small diameter shape because it allows for the liquid to stay more compact in the tube so that temperature stays constant longer. The lid of the thermos must also wrap around the whole lip of the thermos so that heat and liquids can't escape. The environmental impact of the design proves that the durability of the thermos helps the environment by not having to throw thermoses away as much, which will overall decrease the amount of waste produced. The economic impact of the design of the thermos proves that the more durable and efficient the thermos is, the more consumers are willing to purchase that specific thermos. Thermoses will evolve more over time, and its shape will most likely become longer in length but smaller in diameter to improve the durability and temperature control of thermoses. These are my sources. Thank you for listening.